How's it going, Pokemon trainers? So it is the beginning of 2022 and we are going to see a lot of events happening in Pokemon Go throughout the entire year. And to start off this month, I wanted to do a series of prediction videos for what we're going to see in the game in Pokemon Go for 2022. So in today's first prediction video for the year, we are going to cover my predictions for Pokemon Go 2022 Community Days. So hey trainers, welcome to or welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, we're mainly a Pokemon Go channel, so if that's something you're interested in, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We do videos like this, we also do tutorials, news, sometimes we do some recaps, and then every now and then you're gonna see some other videos like Animal Crossing, Switch games, other Pokemon games, stuff like that. So again, thank you if you do hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed and you're back here for another video, thank you for watching as always, I appreciate you. And with that being said, let's go ahead and I wanna cover my predictions for 2022 community days in Pokemon Go. So now just as an intro, we already have 2 community days announced for the year. We're getting 2 this January. Obviously the first one is Spheal, which we just saw their shiny release in December as a costume form, and we're also getting a classic throwback Bulbasaur community day. Now that being said, those first 2 community days aren't super exciting, especially if you're a player who has been playing for a very long time. If you're a new player, it's super exciting that we're gonna have that Bulbasaur throwback day to give all of new trainers a chance to kind of round off their Kanto Pokédex, get those shinies they have missed, get those exclusive moves on starter Pokemon that they've missed, and I do expect to see more of those throughout the year. However, in this video, we're not going to cover those. I do expect that we will see the Kanto starters kind of divvied up maybe across the next 5 or 6 months. And then as we progress in the game, it's obvious that Pokemon Go is going to start running out of Pokemon to have community days for, so I expect that we will see a lot of these repeat events. They're easy to just throw into the game as far as back-end coding goes, I can only assume. So otherwise, we are going to cover what we expect to see throughout the year, covering who, when, and why we are predicting these. So let's go ahead and get started with February 2022. So as you probably know, February 26th, we are having our Johto Tour event. Now this event is going to release all of the Johto Pokemon as well as their shiny forms finally into the game. We saw this in the Kanto Tour last year. Everyone was able to get the chance to complete their Kanto Pokédex and hunt every single shiny from the Kanto region. So we're seeing that again with the Johto Tour. So now since this is in February, I assume that the month of February is going to have a lot of Johto related events. I think the beginning of the month leading up to the actual event is going to be full of things that are going to get trainers excited for the Johto event. Now that being said, when details for the Johto Tour event were first released, we saw the list of unreleased shinies that had yet to be put into the game from the Johto region. Now since those event details were released just a few months ago, we've actually seen the release of shiny Hoot Hoot and shiny Slugma. So these were 2 previously unreleased Johto region shinies, which once that news came out, I expected at least to see those shiny releases happen in the actual Johto Tour event, but we got to see them released a little bit earlier. So I believe that because we're obviously seeing Niantic release some of these shinies before the actual event, there is 1 set of shinies left from the Johto region that has yet to be released. It's got everything we need for a Calm Day, including 3 total evolutions. Now unfortunately, this Pokemon isn't that exciting, really, other than being one of the few Johto region Pokemon left to have their shiny release. So my prediction for February Calm Day is going to be Hoppip. Now one, I've already expressed that I think this is going to be to get trainers excited for the Johto Tour, to get people kind of thinking about the Johto region Pokemon and really working towards completing their Johto Pokedex. Now one other thing I want to note here, now this is just purely possibly coincidental, but last year prior to the Kanto Tour, there were 7 unreleased shinies. This does not include their evolutions, but 7 base or unevolvable unreleased shinies going into the Kanto Tour. And if we are to see Hoppip and its 2 evolution forms released before the event, that will leave us with 7 unreleased shinies, which I then expect will be the final releases for the Johto Tour event. So seeing that we do have this event on February 26th, I want to say that our Calm Day is going to be pretty early on in the month, probably the 2nd weekend, if not the 2nd weekend, obviously the one right after that, but it's definitely going to be out of the way before the Johto Tour. So now as we progress in this video, please let me know down in the comments what you think about each one of these predictions. If you think they're super stupid, if you think I'm insane, if you think I'm aiming too low or too high, let me know down in the comments. Next up, March 2022 Pokemon Go Community Day prediction. So this one's a little bit random. Obviously, there's a lot to choose from, so I'm trying to focus in on kind of the seasonal change here. We know we're going to be starting a new season on March 1st. There aren't any details yet as of the very second that I'm recording this as to what season will be next, but given the fact that we're going from one season to another, I'm trying to think along the lines of like what signifies a seasonal change. When we think of seeing the seasons change, we think about the trees and the grass and what the earth looks like, basically. So for this one, I kind of want to stick to the grass element of this seasonal change, going with a grass/bug type Pokemon for this one. Again, this is a pretty random Pokemon, and it's a Pokemon that we don't often see in the game, which I think makes it a great candidate for a Pokemon Go Community Day because it gives trainers the opportunity to finally collect enough candies to get this Pokemon to its final evolution. It also does not have the shiny release yet, so further making it a great candidate for a springtime March seasonal change related Pokemon. So if you haven't already guessed it, I'm going to predict that we're getting Sewaddle as our March Pokemon Go Community Day featured Pokemon. Again, let me know what you think about that one, and let's go ahead and move on to April 2022. So my idea for my April prediction is going to focus on the fact that the first 3 months that we've seen for January and what I'm predicting as far as February and March goes, a little bit underwhelming as far as Community Day Pokemon Go. So that being said, as we get into April, if my predictions are even remotely near what is going to be the reality of the game, in my prediction world, April needs a little boost. Now, if you remember correctly, we saw the release of the Kalos region Pokemon, I believe it was in December of 2020. Now, we got several released at once, and shortly after that, the first Pokemon we saw have a calm day was Fletchling. So we know that Niantic is not opposed to having Kalos region community days in the game right now. Now, based on the sheer amount of regional Pokemon that have come out for the Kalos region, and based on the fact that we have finally completed all of our starters from previous regions with community days and shiny releases, I think it's time. I think it's time for us to get our first starter from the Kalos region having its own Pokemon Go Community Day, and for that, my prediction is going to be Chespin. Now, I'm picking Chespin obviously because it's the first starter as far as the Pokédex goes from the Kalos region, and probably out of the three, I guess Greninja is really good, but I really enjoy Chestnut. I think Chestnut is an awesome grass fighting type Pokemon. I've got a lucky one. I use it in battle a lot, so I think personally Chespin is probably the best starter from that region, which is additionally why I'm kind of hoping / predicting that if we do get a Kalos starter, it will be Chespin. Additionally, having Chespin for a community day also gives us the opportunity to perhaps get a Chestnut with a really great legacy move, perhaps a legacy fighting type move. And that is gonna do it for April. Next up, let's talk about May. So now, one thing that I really want to see in Pokemon Go for 2022 is the release of Alola region Pokemon. Now, as you know, we kind of completely skipped over the Alola region Pokemon. We pretty much just have altered forms of Pokemon that are different in the Alola region, but we don't have any specific to the Alola region in the game yet. If you've been playing, you saw that last year we got the Galar region Pokemon release. Now, that was all tied into Hoopa and Hoopa's mischief, kind of bending space and time, which makes sense, but at the same time, it also feels like we forgot an entire generation of Pokemon. And I want to say that the Alola region is probably my second favorite region after Kanto. I grew up with Kanto, so that has to be my favorite region. Anyway, so under the prediction that 2022 will finally be the year that we get some Alola region Pokemon released into the game, I want to go ahead and go back to Fletchling as an example. When we got our Kalos region Pokemon released, we pretty much immediately saw a community day for Fletchling, which is your standard Route 1 bird. So this prediction specifically is going to focus on the idea that if we do get Alola region Pokemon released into the game, there could potentially be a very high chance that the first community day we get for this region is going to focus not on the starters, but on a random Pokemon that was released in the first go around of Alolan releases, which makes me think Route 1 bird. That being said, my prediction for community day for May in Pokemon Go 2022 is going to be Pikipek. Now, this is such a cute Pokemon. It's a pretty like drama-free Pokemon that we can toss into a calm day, release the shiny straight away. And given that the Johto tour is happening at the end of February, I feel like that opens up the opportunity really for Pokemon Go to start releasing even more generations once we complete the Johto Pokedex. So because I assume that we will get a Alola region Pokemon, this makes complete sense to me. What do you think? Are you a fan of Pikipek? Would you like to see that Alolan Pokemon be the first Alolan Alola Region Pokemon to have a community day in the game? Let me know down in the comments. Okay, next up, June. June 2022 community day predictions in Pokemon Go. Now this is the one, this is my best prediction for the entire year. I'm gonna stick it directly in the middle of the year in June. Now, I'm going to predict this Pokemon. However, I'm not very optimistic that this Pokemon will have a community day in 2022 or ever, because this seems like a Pokemon that is very, very neglected in the game. They are very rare, hard to find. Whenever there are events featuring its typing, we never see this Pokemon appear. It seems to always be left out of events that it seems like it should be a major part of. Now, additionally, I'm rewinding all the way back to June 2021, and if you remember correctly, June 2021 is when we got our Gible Calm Day. Now, there's another example of a Pokemon that everybody loves. The shiny was already out, but it was a very, very rare shiny to have. So giving it a community day gave the opportunity for all trainers to get their shiny Gible. And I think that this Pokemon that I'm going to predict for June also really needs some love, and so many trainers still need it. Have you guessed it yet? If not, it's gonna be Axew. So I know that there's absolutely no arguing that Axew does not get the love that it deserves. It's pretty much a pseudo legendary, much like Gible, but it's so rare in the game because ordinarily we're only finding it in 10-kilometer eggs. Now 10-kilometer eggs, first of all, are very hard to find, and then to hatch an Axew from a 10-kilometer egg is even harder. It's one of the most rare hatches to come out of those 10-kilometer eggs. So I know a lot of trainers out there don't even have their first Axew, let alone enough candy for that Axew to evolve it all the way up to Haxorus. So with that being said, I am hoping and predicting that Axew is going to be our biggest community day of the year. We're gonna get that shiny, and everyone's gonna get the chance to get a shiny and finally evolve it all the way up to its final form, giving pretty much all of us one more amazing dragon Pokemon to take into battle. So what do you think? Is predicting Axew for a calm day a little bit outrageous? I tinkered between that one and Dino, but I know that we've been seeing Dino a lot in various events, the Dragon Spiral event we had last month or whatever, but Axew still needs a lot more love than Dino. So that's that. Let's move on to July. So, with my predictions, June, best prediction I have to offer you. So that means from here on out, the rest of my predictions are gonna be more mellow, some of them even very, very boring. However, the following month in July, I am going to predict that we are going to get another Kalos region starter. Now in July, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, it's gonna be pretty much peak summer, and unfortunately, as you probably know, Niantic tends to favor the Northern Hemisphere over the Southern Hemisphere, which is unfortunate. But because of that, I'm gonna go ahead and focus on the fact that it's summer up here in the Northern Hemisphere come July, which means we're probably looking at a fire type Pokemon, something related to heat, to sun, relative to July. Now, I don't know why I think we're gonna get 2 Kalos starters community days this year, but it is what I'm going to predict. So for the month of July, I am predicting we are going to see Fennekin as our community day Pokemon. Now this one I feel like I'm definitely gonna be wrong on, because as you know, our past starter Pokemon from previous regions, it took a really, really long time for those Pokemon to get their shiny release and their community days after they were initially released in the game. So there's also a really good chance that we might not even see the Kalos starters until 2023. But that's my prediction for July, Fennekin. Next up for August 2022 Community Day prediction in Pokemon Go. We've gotta rein it back in a bit. We just made some pretty massive predictions for the previous 4 months. We're throwing in Axew in there, we're throwing in 2 Kalos starters, and a brand new Alola region Pokemon. So this one is going to be super boring, but a Pokemon that needs a Community Day, or at least its shiny release. Pokemon Go obviously eventually will run out of Pokemon to have calm days for, because as you know, typically they're Pokemon that don't yet have their shiny release, and almost 100% of the time I think they're 3 evolution Pokemon. I want to say like Electabuzz and Magmar don't count, but they do have babies, so technically it's a 3 evolution Pokemon. And again, because I guess I'm obsessed with Route 1 birds in this video, we're going back to the Route 1 birds, and we pretty much have all of the Route 1 birds from the original series released into the game with their shinies available, a lot of them which have had community days. So we've got Pidgey, we've got Spearow, Hoothoot, Tailo, Pidove, and Wingull. Who are we missing from that group? Starly. So shiny Starly has yet to be released into the game, and as you know, this 3 evolution Pokemon is one of the very, very few that are still left in our older generations. So now I can't say that this Pokemon is particularly useful. I know that its final evolution can be pretty useful as a flying type Pokemon, so there's that, and having that calm day offering a special move to Starava might breathe a little bit of life back into a Pokemon that probably goes pretty often overlooked by trainers. shinies. So anyway, that's it for August. I'm predicting Starly. Next up, September. So for September, I'm making another really outlandish prediction, but it is one that I think really would make sense to me, and hopefully the devs at Niantic might be thinking along similar lines. So like I mentioned before, eventually Pokemon Go is going to run out of Community Day Pokemon. All the shinies are already going to be out. Pokemon might have already had their calm days, and we will have to start seeing repeats. So obviously we've seen Charmander twice now. We're seeing a Bulbasaur throwback Community Day. We also saw Duskull last year, which I don't think they had a calm day, correct me if I'm wrong, but they had been out for a while and their shiny had been out for a while, so that was kind of a strange one. It all seemed very recycled. So I think we will start to see more of that as the years progress and the generations are being released slower and slower. Pokemon Go is definitely going to start to catch up with the regular franchise games. So that being said, my prediction for September is going to focus on a lot of things. The first one being that spooky season is in October, so it would make sense to me to have a September Community Day for a Pokemon that will do very well against the types of Pokemon we would see during October. That includes Ghost, Dark, I guess sometimes we have Psychic in there. Now, this Pokemon has already had a Community Day. Its shiny has been out for a really long time. However, this Pokemon has two forms of a final evolution, meaning that you need double the candy and double the shinies. And if you haven't already guessed, that Pokemon is going to be Ralts. So now why else do I think that Ralts would make a great duplicate Community Day event in Pokemon Go? So we previously saw Ralts have a calm day, and the special move for that calm day was Synchronoise for both Gardevoir and Gallade. So both of those evolutions were given a psychic type move, the same move for both of them. Now, as you know, Ralts, when evolved all the way to Gardevoir, becomes a psychic and fairy dual type Pokemon, or if it's evolved all the way to Gallade, it becomes psychic and fighting. Now, fairy and fighting type Pokemon are two really great Pokemon to take into spooky season, so it makes sense to me that if this calm day was to come to fruition, Gardevoir and Gallade could get two brand new special moves, Gallade being given a fighting move and Gardevoir being given a fairy move. So that event would offer tons of candy to redo all of those evolutions, tons of candy for new shinies, new opportunities to find Shundos. At the very end, have two super decent Pokemon with super awesome moves to take into October. Okay, and now speaking of October, this one I hope will be super obvious to everyone. This is a Pokemon that I personally, and I think a lot of other trainers, really thought that we were going to see a calm day for last October, but no, we got Duskull, so I'm still salty 4 months later, and I'm probably still going to be salty all the way to October 2022, because this is the Pokemon that I want the shiny for, that I want the calm day for, that I want all the candies for. I have a hundo of the final evolution, I believe maybe it was one of my first hundos, and I'm ready to max that baby out, but I need some XL candy. So I'm guessing that you already know who I'm going to say. My prediction for Community Day in Pokemon Go for October 2022 is Litwick. Litwick, just a beautiful shiny, even though the colors really just signify a super hot flame versus just a regular hot flame. But I want this. I need these shinies in my life, and like I said, I need that XL candy. Let me know down in the comments. Do you agree? Do we need to get Litwick for Community Day in 2022? I really feel like if we don't get Litwick for this October, trainers are going to lose the plot and we're all just gonna quit. Anyway, next up will be our final prediction for calm days for 2022. This is going to be our November Community Day. Now, in case you don't know, December is always a recap of all of the calm days from that year and usually the year previous to that. So we should expect that our December Community Day is going to have all of our 2022 Pokemon appearing again, as well as all of our 2021 Pokemon appearing in things like raids and eggs. So now, because of that, this is going to be another really reined back Community Day. I know in 2021 we saw Shinx as our final calm day for the year, which great Pokemon. The shiny was already out. It's normally just in raids, so we did have a really exciting November calm day in 2021, but my prediction is that that's not going to happen this year, and if I'm following suit with the things I have already predicted, there's already a lot going on in those predictions, so that is why my prediction for November is going to be boring. Now, this Pokemon had their shiny released sometime in 2021, so it is already available in the game, but it remains a 3 evolution Pokemon that has not had a calm day yet. It doesn't really have that many standout qualities in battle. Adding a legacy move to it could make it kind of exciting, but for the most part, I'm predicting that November is going to be a completely filler month, and I'm so sorry to you, dear Pokemon, for referring to as boring and filler, but I'm predicting Whismur is going to be our November 2022 Community Day in Pokemon Go. Now again, this could have been any Pokemon in my predictions that is similar in stature and availability to Whismur, but for some reason, something was calling to me and telling me to predict Whismur for this calm day. That is it. That's all of my predictions. I quickly just want to recap all of the Pokemon that we talked about. So for the month of February, I'm predicting Hoppip will be released before the Johto tour. For March, I'm predicting Sewaddle is finally going to get its shiny release and have its moment in the spotlight. For April, I'm predicting Chespin, the first of our Kalos region starters to get a calm day. For May, I think we're going to get an Alolan Pokemon finally into the game, and that's going to be Pikipek. For June, my bonkers prediction is going to be Axew as our calm day Pokemon. For July, it's going to be Hoppip here. Let's get another Kalos starter. Fennekin is my prediction for July. And then for August, we're reining it back into some more Route 1 birds in the form of Starly. And then for September, I'm predicting we get our second Ralts Community Day with 2 brand new special moves for our final evolutions. For October, I am predicting Litwick, and if it's not Litwick, I'm going to cry. And then finally, reining it back in for November, I predict we're going to get a boring community day in between the spooky season and holiday events months, and that is going to be Whismur. Okay, Pokemon trainers, those are my predictions. I thought long and hard about them. I weighed different pros and cons, what potential Pokemon are really good that can be included, and then of course we're always going to get some super boring ones given the history of Niantic's calm day choices. Now, in addition to this video, I'm also going to do a legendary raid prediction for the year, which I will be filming immediately after this, so hopefully it won't be released too far after I get this prediction video posted up on my YouTube. So make sure to stay tuned, and if you enjoyed this video, please let me know with a thumbs up or a comment down in the comment section. Feel free to comment on any of these predictions, tear them apart if you want to. And then otherwise, I'll see you all really soon. Hopefully the next video will be the legendary raid predictions for the year. I hope you all are enjoying the start of the year and keep having a wonderful time. Bye bye.